G'day everyone, Wesley here from the Mental Awareness Foundation, coming to you from the lovely Brisbane, Story Bridge in the background, and I have the amazing, beautiful Shana Challenor. Challenor. One of those surnames. We had a giggle just before. Now, the amazing thing about Shana, she actually runs a beautiful organisation that we supported last year called Talk Suicide. And chime in if you have to. But Talk Suicide offers peer-to-peer support. So if you are struggling with any mental health issues, they'll actually come out and see you and sit down with you and talk to you, but most of all actually build up a network around you, a supportive network, Spot Speak Support. So these guys offer that great supportive value, and I can tell you they do amazing work. Last year we actually donated an amazing check to these guys, thanks to you, of $15,000. So we're going to have a brief chat about that. But Talk Suicide.
Yes, okay. So essentially we've been around for quite some time now. We've been supporting many people. So we support not only individuals at risk of suicide, but their family and friends.
Okay, yeah, good to know, yep.
So we support people as long as they need supporting. So we like to think of ourselves as gap fillers. So we're the gap fillers between clinical response and crisis intervention. So we're the in-between. So a lot of the time people might not have a full support network around them, or they might have a full support network around them, but they still feel very isolated because perhaps those supports aren't actually talking to each other, that can happen. So we come on board, and if they haven't got a support network, we say, right, what are your needs? What are the gaps that need filling for you? And we try and link them in with organisations that can support them for those specific needs. And then we also, a big part of what we do is we actually get everyone talking to each other. That's probably key.
That's a big thing, talking.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So all those people that are in that person's sphere, so their family, their friends, other support groups, whoever they are, we get everyone on the same page so that person actually feels like they have a complete I suppose a safety net, if you want to call it, around them. And then I suppose what we go on to do, so that's in terms of our practical support that we offer people.
Just quickly, I just think with that supportive, it actually brings up a little bit of a conversation. It really shows how important having those people around you is, isn't it? Because,
it is.
You know, that's what you're doing. You're building up, I guess, that triangle of people around that person so that they have someone to talk to no matter where they turn.
Exactly. So if it's for this, you can talk to these people. If it's this time of day, you talk to these people. And that's what people need, because in reality, if people have people around them, that's the key. It really is the key. One of my most favourite sayings is isolation is the enemy.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
Talking at time is the key. Talking at time is the absolute key to everything. So if you can talk to someone, if you can give your time to somebody, that's it.
It's amazing. And sorry, it's bin day here in New Farms. I apologise for all the noise, but it's about to leave. It's interesting because we've actually talked about some of the signs with mental health and detachment, and I guess that would fall under that isolation. So I guess that's one of those signs. If you are seeing someone that's perhaps isolating themselves, that's where that support, it's definitely supporting, is really important. Now I must say, we actually met, I think, about 2-3 years ago, and it was actually suicide prevention. I remember in the Valley Mall there, and I remember we met and talked. One thing that really I found super cool is that I haven't heard of any organisation like you. From what you're aware of, you know, there's definitely phone-to-phone support, you know, Lifeline, and they all do great work and whatnot. But peer-to-peer support. Many organisations out there that do your type of intervention or assistance.
That is very true. So everyone has their part to play. That's how I look at it. So you've got crisis response, so they have their part to play. You have clinical response, they have their part to play. But in terms of people getting ongoing support as well. So that's a big part of what we do. So we don't say, okay, we'll talk to you, for 6 sessions.
Yes.
It doesn't work like
okay.
that.
Yep.
So we hang around until someone gets to a place where they say, I'm good for now, and I've got these strategies in place now, because that's obviously a big part of what we do as we work with people to build not only their, obviously, that support network, i.e. their external resources, but to build their internal resources as well. So, what are the things that you pull out of yourself and things that you do for yourself when you're starting to feel not okay? Okay, what are those things you've used in the past? How do we build on those? How do we maybe link you in with finding new things that can be an extra internal resource that you can tap into? So that's a really, obviously, a big part of it as well, because people, they at some point they need to also find they need to be empowered to actually do it themselves, because you, me, nobody else, we don't control any other human being. We can't control any thought, behaviours or actions. Their life is their responsibility. We are there as facilitators and empowerers to get them to a place where they go, I've got this, I can do this, and this is what I'm going to do if I start going down that path again. If they find they need to talk, they just ring us back up and we go, okay, right, so where are we at? Maybe those strategies aren't working anymore. What else can we tap into?
How did you create this? Because from what I understand, is it your organisation?
It's not my organisation. So
you've been there from the start.
No, I once upon a time I was on the board.
Yes.
And then I'm from the mental health sector, so that's my background. But I personally lost my fiance to suicide in 2004. So when that happened, and I was working for the organisation I met an absolutely amazing woman by the name of Carla Pierce. So Carla actually headed up CAPS in terms of the service delivery, and she put the model together. She went out and did consultations in terms of what's missing. If you're in the sector, we all know what's missing. But it was nice to kind of go out and go, is this missing? Oh yes, it is. Let's do something about it. Let's actually just do something about it. No red tape or anything like that. So Carla was very much, for a long time, I always look at her as my mentor. So I always stayed in contact with her, and then Carla's actually a Buddhist nun. She contacted me a couple years ago and said, I'm going on sabbatical for a year. That was over a year ago. That was a couple of years ago now. And said, do you want to just come on board just as kind of a backup? So I came on board and just ended up going, right, we need to get back out there, because we'd come to a stage. Because it's very hard in this sector when, obviously we're completely funded by private donations. We don't get any government money at all. So sometimes that can be running on the smell of an oily rag. So we really had to get back out into the community to say, hey, we are still around, use us, please use us, we're here, no one else is doing what we're doing. If you have people that need to talk, come and see us.
Actually you mentioned that you don't get funding, and I think that was one of the big things that I was sort of not shocked but just surprised that such an amazing service wasn't getting funding. Last year we gave you a cool check of 15 grand. Yay! And we hope to give you more this year. So please start raising funds if you can. That money, where did that go towards? What did you use that for last year?
In our small organisation, we don't really have any overheads. So we don't have all the bits and pieces that money goes to. Money goes to supporting people.
Yeah, perfect.
That's where money goes. We don't, we have some office space at New Farm Neighbourhood Centre. That's perfect for us. But in reality, we don't really use much else. We're very excited to get some computers through a donation, so we're like, yay, we've got computers and phones now. But all the money that comes to us goes into support. That's where it goes. It goes into us being able to go out to people, and not only go out to people, but we also go out and educate people as well. So we offer training and education in awareness or intervention, or the next level up, we offer training education in supporting someone at risk of suicide. So those people who are living it every day, their carers, whether that be their work or whether they be a family member, in going, okay, these are some strategies. There is no A plus B equals C in this land. It's just, here's a whole lot of stuff, and this is what we do. We basically just try and train people in what we do so they can go, right, that didn't work, what else can we try? That didn't work, what else can we try?
Yeah.
Everyone's completely individual, just like suicide is completely individual. There are no two cases that are the same.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story about your fiance. Just hearing this makes me realise what great work Shana and her team do, and I can confirm that their overheads are very low. I've been to their wee office. It's literally a little space. But that's the thing, they don't need to be spending money on office space. They actually are spending that money on assisting people, which is fantastic. Actually, I had to share a story with you just in terms of that supportive value. Yesterday, I actually had a bad mental health day. Like I had this cloud over my head. But one thing, I guess being in this industry, one thing that I did do is actually I went and spoke to a couple of my friends. You know, I went actually just sort of had a conversation with them, just saying, oh man, I'm not feeling great today. And it was really, really nice to have that supportive value from them. But I think what I noticed and what I wanted to share was actually me going up and talking to them and not hiding it from myself or holding it back. You know, is that something that rings true for you, that you hear a lot or you recommend a lot?
Yes, both. So we find a lot of the time people who are struggling, they might even have external supports, but they don't want to talk to their family and friends about it for whatever reason. I mean, there's stigma, they don't want to be a burden, they don't think that they'll care, whatever it is. Obviously, we try and get to a place with people where we say, you know, perhaps we need to work on, you know, whether that's the reality of the situation, because they are the most valuable supports, because they're the people that are going to be there at 2:00 in the morning. You know, anyone else, you know, there are people that you can call crisis response, but still nothing beats having friends or family that are there at 2:00 in the morning. So we very much try and bring those people on board and try and get people to a place where they understand that that's necessary. That's necessary for them to get to a place where they're okay, and they can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, you know. There's no magic wand. Wow, I'm great now. How great would it be if we all did that? We wouldn't be necessary. But it's not like that. So people need those supports. They need family and friends, and that's why, in terms of that when I said we try and work to build up internal and external resources, one of the things that we try and build in people's networks, apart from other services, is those friendships. So we do that by looking at people's, you know, interests, maybe past interests, and try and get them into groups and clubs or whatever it is that they're into. Participation.
Like the walk.
Exactly, like the walk. Because that builds friendships as well. So those friendships might take time, but they're friendships, and they might find other people that go, oh, hey, I'm in that space too. You know, I will be here if you need to go for a coffee.
Yeah, and hear that, guys, about participation, friends. I'm going to wrap this up because it must be like chore day in New Farm, because some dude's now whippersnipping over there. Shana, listen, thank you for coming on board, and I know that people watching this would be thinking the same thing. Thank you. You guys are doing awesome work. It is under the radar stuff. Like, that's why I wanted to promote these guys, because no one's heard about them yet. They're doing super cool work. Guys, registrations are open. Sunday, the 9th of October. Be there. Bring your furry friend, which is a dog, if you like, or a fish, as I mentioned before, or a cat on a lead. I don't mind. Just be there. Be square. It's going to be super cool. Thank you, Shana.
Thank you so much.
Funds raised will be going towards this mental health initiative. So help us help them.
Thank you.